My name is Tim Shipley. I'm 36 years old and I'm from Maryville, Missouri. I'm a project manager for a railroad contractor based out of St. Joseph, Missouri. My family, it's my wife Nancy and me, and then we have a 16-month-old son, Renner, and two ridiculous Labrador retrievers. I like to just spend doing about anything that a wife and child and a husband could do together. We'll go spend a day shopping or just with other family members. We'll spend time in warmer weather doing projects around the house, inside and outside. We're kind of homebodies. We don't travel a whole lot. I get plenty of that with my job. So. Spend a lot of time going to athletic events here at the university. We go to just about all the home basketball games, all the home football games, things of that nature. I was born in Burlington Junction, which is about 15 minutes from here. Lived there until I was 6 years old, and then we moved to Maryville, and I've been in Maryville ever since, except for a couple of years in Kansas City. But I still maintained residence here in Maryville when I was in Kansas City. I went to Horseman School right here on the Northwest campus from pre-K all the way through 6th grade. And my mom worked at the university here in the broadcasting department for 35 years. So I've grown up with Northwest as part of my life. Northwest students were some of my teachers in elementary school. Some of the athletes would coach us in PE class and things like that. Went through the Maryville public school system from 7th grade through my high school graduation in 1996, and then attended Northwest from 98 through 2002. So I guess you could say it's almost in my blood, the university and the community. I wouldn't be who I am without those connections. Again, because it was familiar to me. I grew up earning a high degree of respect for the institution and for what were some really strong programs here, the geosciences, agriculture, journalism, all among the best in the state. And it was home. I knew a lot of the instructors. I liked the idea of smaller class sizes. Most of my classes, we never had more than 40 people in a class. So within a few weeks, you knew everybody's name, and everyone was a familiar face that you could talk to just about anywhere. I think just the entire college experience, which is something you could get probably any institution, but being so familiar with it going into it, I didn't have any of the anxieties that sometimes accompany, a move away from home for some students, things like that. I kind of went into it and hit the ground running, and I just really enjoyed the smaller class sizes, the smaller campus, student employment. I worked on campus for 3 years and really enjoyed that. And then the opportunities for study abroad. I spent my last semester in London studying with a consortium of other state universities and really enjoyed that. I just have no complaints about my time here at Northwest. I liked it a lot. Living in a small community, it's nice to be able to get whatever you need within a few minutes and not have to fight breakneck traffic. It's home for me, it's familiar to me, has all the resources that I would need for just about anything. It's convenient to urban areas, Omaha, Des Moines, Kansas City. If I need to go to an airport to travel for work, it's just a little over an hour. But again, I don't have the headaches of living in a big city. I don't spend a whole lot of time stuck in traffic. My time is for me and not for a freeway, and I kind of like that about Maryville. It's safe, it's quiet, everyone knows everyone. That's a little trite to say, but when somebody needs something in this town, people come together and they make it happen. They help. We have an excellent group of churches in town that are all very progressive and welcoming to the student population, which is nice. We have excellent schools. Obviously, we have really good athletic programs around here with football and basketball, the success those programs have had. We've got a solid industrial base. We did kind of get a black eye when Energizer left town, but we've still got several other factories that are running full bore, and I think we're going to have Energizer filled hopefully pretty soon and put some people back to work there. With the closeness of the university and the community, they're so interconnected in so many ways, but I think the opportunities for research, development, some really big projects, the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, that in conjunction with community resources can be a real boon for this part of the state. I think we've got the best technology and business incubator north of I-70. We're unique in that regard. There's nothing like it in Kirksville, St. Joe, anywhere. And we haven't capitalized on that yet, but I think we're going to. Obviously, things like, when we adopted our son Renner, that was probably the biggest moment of my life. My wife and I got married on campus. That was a big day for us. As a student in '98, I went to Alabama for the first national championship, and that was something I'll never forget. We had a great time. The whole season was pretty magical, really. Graduation day was really special for me. My internship was really special. Things like that. I have a vested interest, having grown up here and planning to live the rest of my life here, in the direction that this community is going. And I don't mean to imply that the community is going in the wrong direction. I don't think that's the case at all. I think we're doing a lot of really good things. I want to be a part of it. I've got some ideas that I think could be good if brought to the table, if we can capitalize on some of them. I want to be a part of what I think is going to be an exciting few years for the community. Gosh, you're dating me here. This has been 10, 15 years ago. I had some economics and statistics classes that were pretty tough. The subject matter itself wasn't so tough, but the instructors really challenged us as students in those classes to, not just, memorize a few things to answer a multiple choice test. They gave us, real world scenarios to apply what we'd learned and prove that we had something we could take with us once the class was over. Some kind of production atmosphere, whether it was manufacturing or mining, which we don't do a lot of that around here. That's something I'd probably have to relocate, at least temporarily, for. As a railroad contractor, I get to do enough that it's not just a boring desk job. I mean, I travel coast to coast, Canada, hopefully before too long internationally, in Europe, Australia. So I get a taste of a lot of different things, and I really haven't put a lot of thought into what else I might want to do. Something, though, in heavy industry like that. I think students should vote, especially in these smaller elections, because these are the elections where your vote really does count. In the big presidential election, and I think it's a misconception, but there's an idea that your vote doesn't really matter because of the way the Electoral College is set up. So a lot of people, and I've been guilty of it in the past, just skip the presidential vote because they feel like it doesn't matter. In smaller elections like this, it really does come down to a majority rules, and every vote really does count. So if a student has an opinion on something, rather than going to the union and talking about it over lunch and never doing anything else beyond that, they owe it to themselves and to the ideas that they foster to go out and vote, because there's always something at stake in these smaller elections. In a town this size, in an area this size, every vote counts, and every outcome affects just about everybody in one way or another. So it's important to vote, and it's good to practice what makes our systems of government in this country work the way that they do. They're not perfect, but they're better than just about anywhere else. And so to practice that by doing something as fundamental as voting, you can't go wrong.